Hello, friends. Today is November 25th, 2015, and I have an article here for you over on AZ Central, and that's the Arizona Republic. And this is by Robert Anglin. LifeLock used to electronically track Arizona woman. It's a long article. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but just the relevant parts here. So let's go ahead and dig into this. A Gilbert woman says her ex-husband used LifeLock's credit monitoring systems to create an account in her name and secretly track her every financial move since their separation 2 years ago. Susanna Quintana, 47, says that when she applied for credit cards, leased a car, signed a cell phone contract, and opened a bank account, her ex-husband received emails and alerts detailing the activity. He knew everything I did, she said. I had no idea about all the things he knew. Quintana said when she discovered the bogus account in March and alerted LifeLock, company officials from customer service representatives to managers ignored her. She said they didn't respond to emails, delayed responses, and denied her access to the account so that critical records were lost. LifeLock describes itself as an industry leader in identity theft protection services, promising on its website to give people a sense of confidence to live freely in an always connected world. Days after being contacted by the Arizona Republic in November, officials with the Tempe-based company apologized to Quintana and acknowledged they were slow to respond to law enforcement officers investigating the complaint she filed against her ex-husband, alleging identity theft and cyberstalking. They offered to cover Quintana's legal fees and said LifeLock is reviewing its procedures. Quintana's records show LifeLock allowed her ex-husband to track her new and existing accounts, credit score, credit reports, financial activity, and public records. Through LifeLock's fraud detection system, Quintana's ex-husband also would have had control over her financial activity and been asked to review each transaction or initiate a fraud investigation. They didn't listen to me. It's almost like they didn't believe me, Quintana said. They did not want to admit what they'd done. Since they are an identity protection company, it was not in their best interest to admit my identity wasn't protected. They tried to shift the blame to me. A LifeLock executive on November 9th said the company was conducting a comprehensive review of procedures to ensure better protection for spouses and to work with law enforcement in a timely and effective manner. We're distressed that someone was able to use our service to victimize his ex-wife, Kelly Bonsall, LifeLock's vice president of Media Relations and Corporate Social Responsibility, said in a statement. There's often little a company can do to stop someone who is intent on causing harm using the personal information of a partner, but we owe this victim an apology because we did not assist her with the speed and care that the situation required. Julio Quintana said in a phone interview earlier this month that he wasn't at liberty to discuss LifeLock or his ex-wife's allegations. Julio, however, said he was the victim of a harassment campaign orchestrated by Susanna. Julio, who owns Wild West Productions in Sheridan, Wyoming, declined to comment on records showing that he had opened the LifeLock account in his wife's name and that alerts about her activity were being sent to his email this year. Sergeant Mike Gill of the Sheridan County Sheriff's Office confirmed his office investigated stalking claims against Julio Quintana. He said the case recently was submitted to the county attorney's office to review what, if any, charges would be lifted. Gill would not discuss any findings, but said LifeLock did not make the investigation easy. He said the company did immediately turn over records. Emails show Gill repeatedly asked LifeLock for documents in June and was still waiting for them more than a month later. The information is necessary for me to obtain a search warrant, Gill wrote to a LifeLock official on July 24th. As the days and weeks go by, I fear that the information in my affidavit may go stale. Gill said on November 9th that he eventually received the records he requested. The timeliness of the information from LifeLock wasn't to my satisfaction, he said. And I'm going to be skipping over some of this here. Of course, you'll be able to look at it because the link will be down in the description section. And let me get to the other part. Quintana said her accounts never were blocked. Instead, she said her ex-husband was able to use LifeLock to scan and record her every move on a spreadsheet he kept on his computer. Susanna said she separated from her husband in 2013 after 16 years of marriage. She and her two sons, now 12 and 14, left Sheridan and moved into her mother's Gilbert home. She filed for divorce in 2014 and it was finalized in June. Quintana said one of her sons discovered the LifeLock account in the spreadsheet by accident during a visit to his father's home in March. She said he was playing on the computer when he found a 5-page Excel file documenting her bank accounts, credit cards, and other financial activity. Quintana said her son uploaded the file to the cloud and showed it to her when he returned home. Quintana said she was stunned at the depth of information, which included passwords and answers to security questions. Quintana said among the spreadsheet's rows and columns was an entry for LifeLock. Quintana went online and found the account had been set up using her social security number and other private information, and that her ex-husband was paying for it. Alerts were sent to his contact number and email. She said she changed the LifeLock user ID and password to lock out her husband from the account. She changed the user ID to "I'm on to you, Julio" records show. She then contacted authorities and sought help through the court system. On March 26, Quintana obtained an order of protection against her ex-husband, specifically prohibiting him from accessing her information, her financial information. This would include a in-person contact with companies or doing so telephonically or cyberstalking, a Gilbert Municipal Court judge wrote, adding that Julio Quintana was not allowed to contact any companies about his ex-wife's accounts, including credit card companies, LifeLock, credit agencies, bank accounts, email addresses, Facebook, etc. And I'm going to go ahead and skip over this other part here and get right down to some more relevant parts in the end. Inaction and delays. Quintana said she thought once LifeLock officials heard her story, they would be eager to help. But she said LifeLock officials blocked her from full account access because of privacy concerns over her ex-husband's billing information. I had this overwhelming feeling that nobody was taking me seriously, she said. Like this was the 1950s or something, and that this is something I should just live with. Quintana said company representatives blocked her from obtaining account records to turn over to law enforcement. She said she was able to capture more information using screenshots than with what the company provided. And then she said her ex-husband closed the account. Quintana said she fought with LifeLock to keep open the account, at least long enough to get copies of the records. She said company officials told her the best way to preserve records in the old account would be through a new account in her name. They told me I could have all the account info, and then they did a flip-flop and told me I couldn't get the information once an account was closed, she said. In a May 12th email, LifeLock manager Maurice Fogel told Quintana he was reviewing her account in order to determine the status, including the history of your previous profile. About a week later, on May 18th, he told her the data was inaccessible. I have been advised by my technical support teams that when an account is canceled and then reinstated following cancellation, past records from the old profile cannot be retrieved or made available online, he wrote. Fogel told her in another email the records were still available to any law enforcement agency or via a subpoena. But emails show Sergeant Gale also had trouble getting LifeLock to respond. They show LifeLock officials reneged on promises to provide records. I can only speculate on any reasons for the delays, but I want to assure you that my interest and jurisdiction in this investigation concerns only Julio Quintana, Gale wrote in his July 24 email to LifeLock. And you can read the rest there. What are your thoughts on this, folks? I mean, I know I've seen LifeLock commercials on television more and more the past couple years, especially since more people have, multiple online social media accounts. You're leaving a digital footprint everywhere. And, this is kind of creepy because it's not just people who are doing this. I mean, you got companies out there, you have data aggregators out there. And then the worst thing of all, you got websites like Facebook that are, capturing information about you and turning it over to third parties. So there's a lot of data that's being generated, and like this lady was shocked to find out just how much information could be captured about her from emails, passwords, accounts that she had set up. I mean, hey, this is taking stalking to a whole new level. So, what do you folks think about this? I mean, LifeLock, obviously, they recognize that they have some responsibility to play in this, but it should be set up where you can't open up an account to monitor anybody else's uh, social security number, if you will, or their identity without their express written permission. The reason why I thought that I would include this article is because, well, if you are on these online dating sites and, you're meeting people, you don't think about all the information that you're putting out there and putting on display for the world for someone to come along and gather. And this is something that you should be concerned with, because me personally, over these last couple of years, I have become very minimalist about what I provide detail-wise. And, if you really want to get to know, I feel like you can ask me. I leave that open for you to do so. But I'm not just going to put it all out there. So this is more for those of you who, think that it's a good idea to be an open book and share everything. You might want to reconsider, because you never know one day if this stuff might come back to haunt you or bite you in the ass. That's my personal opinion on it. By all means, please leave yours below. And as always, that's going to do it for this article. I'll catch you in the next one. September Man, out.